This journey began on the 2nd of April, 2026, at 6 in the morning. Location, Rotterdam, The Hague Airport. 9 guys, 1 plane. Destination, Alicante, Spain.
Ja, we gaan nu boarden. Echt super spannend. Ik ben net al aangehouden.
Wat had je bij je? Wat had je bij je?
Ja, onder de 100 gram. Dus en voor eigen gebruik, dus ik mocht door.
Andrew ordered a couple of coffees on the name of Joey.
Hey, maar hier staat Joe. Voor ons stond er nog in de trek.
Joey.
Dennis M. got the priority boarding advantage, just to end up on the plane only 3 minutes faster.
Bij de vleugel zitten wij.
Ja, wat vind je van het vliegtuig?
Ja, mooi.
Goed model?
Goed model. En nee, ja, prima.
The boys couldn't wait to enter the plane and head straight to sunny Spain. Except for Dennis B. His knees weren't made for economy seating. Luckily, his stash of candy eased up the pain. Mark was showing off his Adidas sponsor deal right before takeoff. And then, the majestic Transavia Boeing 737-800 hit the sky. Dennis was inspecting the wings, and after a fast 2-hour flight, the beach of Spain was visible. Not only was the seating too small, the plane apparently was too. But all was forgotten when that nice 20 degrees of Alicante hit their bodies. More gladly was the last to join the shuttle bus. Then it was time to patiently wait for the suitcases to fall down the slide. Once this mission was passed, the gang had to meet up with the designated transfer driver. It took a couple of minutes for the driver to return with the vehicle, but once he did, the group got the full Spanish experience. All of a sudden, it made sense why so many cars in Spain have dents and scratches in their bodywork. But hey, if it works, it works. And then it was time for our disco head driver to hit the road. One part of the group arrived at the beautiful entrance of the hotel for the check-in. Andrew, Dennis, and Mark were still driving their rental car from the airport. This gave the first group a little bit of time to settle in and explore all of the areas of the luxurious resort.
Ik speel de gluurmuur, maar dat is wel interessant wat ik daar zie. Nu gaat het wiel eruit. Kijk het wel.
Wauw. Wauw. Eerste indruk?
Ja, nice man.
Ja?
Zeker.
When the group was reunited, it was time to get some Spanish food in the bellies, because at 4 o'clock, it was already time to hit the first practice on the paddle court. So, consuming a bit of fuel was a necessity. Luckily, it was only a few minutes' stroll to the nearest cafe. The brunch included the following ingredients: café con leche, some bacon, some cheese, olive oil, omelets, toasted bread, tomato, salmon, croissants, green stuff, and of course, for some vitamin C, some fresh orange juice. After the lunch, it was time to get some groceries before heading back to base camp. But before we continue with the video, Martin has an important message to share with you.
Ik zie jongens dat 70% van jullie nog niet geabonneerd is op het kanaal. Dus doe dat gewoon. Dan krijg je de volgende nieuwsupdates automatisch.
Yes.
After returning to the hotel, the group had a little bit of time to relax and get in the right mental state for the coming intensive workout afternoon.
Vind je ervan? Nice.
Salute.
Salute.
While enjoying some really cold beers, non-alcoholic beverages, and a bottle of rosé, it was time to find the way to the paddle club. As it was only 350 meters away, it was a very nice short walk, roaming only one street of Alicante. Arriving at the right place with a little unnecessary detour, it was clear for everyone a couple of amazing days at the beautiful Bela Paddle Center were on the menu. And off they went, the first hits on the playgrounds of Spain. The gang was split into two separate groups. The first group, consisting of Dennis B., Mark H., Jersey L., and Martin S., trained by the Spanish coach Carlos Torregrosa. And on the other court, the group of Andrew V.H., Dennis M., Roy H., and Joardi M. On this court, Laurent Montoisy was in charge of the clinics. If you want to check out the full clinics and what exercises were given to the group, check out the Paddle Dads & Co. YouTube channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe. After 3 hours of tough exercises and exposure to a full sun, it was time for the boys to head back to the hotel to fresh up for dinner. But first, a day one review of paddle by Mark and Dennis.
Hoe voelen jullie de eerste dag? Eerste trainingssessie.
Ja, was goed.
Ja?
Was goed.
Leuk? Spaanse
leuk.
coach, dat jij?
Spaanse coach.
Kon die een
Goeie tips
beetje
gegeven.
communiceren?
Ja, ik
Engels?
kon goed communiceren. We doen alles fout.
Dat was alleen maar
Ik gewoon die Dus ja, nee, was leuk.
Ja, leuk.
Was leuk. Daarna nog even gespeeld, hè, maar het laatste half uur was bij de meeste was de energie eruit. Koek op. Had ik zelf niet zoveel last van. Maar ja, hè?
Pablo gaat door.
Ik had een klein beetje in zijn koffer. Ik had best nog wel een uurtje doorgekund, maar ja, het boek was geen reservering meer, helaas. Dus,
Zelfs na 3 uur staat hij nog te staan.
het is wel jammer dat dit heuveltje zo hier is.
Stel. Heel stel.
Then it was time for a well-deserved dinner at the hotel. Some more queso and chorizo made it to the table, and within 30 seconds to the digestive systems of the gentleman in question.
Oh, mooi brood. Pan noemen we dit. Met salsa de tomate.
What followed were some high-quality steaks, pizzas, and slow-cooked ribs. A perfect recipe for a first fine night of jokes and laughter. The first day came to an end with a full moon and a serene Spanish atmosphere.
I used to live behind a fortress wall. Collected all the stones, built it on my own. Stories on top of stories left untold. Together with no plans of ever growing old. But now I look around and all that I can see is every brick I lay, keeping the world from me.
Zo, kijk eens. Oh, een plaatje.
Plaatjes hier.
Oh, hier is het plaatje. Mensen zijn wakker. Hoe vroeg was jij op mijn ontbijt?
Ontbijt, 7:45 en niemand was er.
Je hebt even een tafeltje voor 9 heb je klaargezet met de hele enthousiaste dame.
Allemaal koffie gezet voor jullie. En nu gaan we alle energie eruit gaan.
Andrew was the first to arrive for breakfast. Too bad the breakfast lady from the hotel wasn't too happy with him moving some tables so the group could eat together. Well, I guess not everyone is a happy morning person. And so the group was ready to begin their second day of paddle training. It was a relief to see the coaches arrive at 9 o'clock sharp and hadn't given up on the group yet. Thus confirming the potential of the players. Again, the disclaimer. If you want to see the full clinic of day 2, check out the YouTube channel.
Je bent zo los en je armen en de attack en je speelt je bandeja zo.
Mooi boy.
Los. Eén stukje, één beweging, de hele lichaam. Je moet het gooien en je moet goed eten.
Nee, maar het zit geen eten in, zo.
Drank, wat? Hij is ook aan het drinken.
Cerveza.
Hij is ook aan het drinken.
Cerveza, wie is dat?
Ja, wie is dat? Mark, heb je geen bier?
Oh, dat is Markie.
Ja, met 340 erin.
Een zootje, even een beetje bijkomen.
And as the Paddle Dads & Co. are known for their usual cup of coffee after each paddle session every Sunday morning, this time was no different. After 90 minutes of training, the cappuccino even tasted better at the terrace of the club. Martin considered going to the gym in the morning, but 55 euros a day was a bit too enthusiastic. Coming up, Dennis with the paddle review of day 2.
Ja, en warm. En ik heb geleerd dat je nog rustiger moet zijn.
Ja.
Nog rustiger. Nog rustiger.
Je bent al de rust zelf.
Ja, dat is mijn foco.
Kalmte kan je redden, hoorde ik nog iemand zeggen van de week.
Ja, dan word ik hem continu roepen. Zo kalm vind ik hem zelf niet.
Relax,
Ik
relax.
ben de helft al niet eens. Maar voor de rest goede training.
Ja.
Lekker alles eruit.
Wat heb je geleerd bij je training vandaag?
De takeaways.
Nou, om goed te kijken wat je tegenstander doet.
Ja.
En dan vooral juist in die hoek te houden. En hem helemaal gek te laten worden. En dan
En een bandeja?
ben je vanzelf verpompt. Ja, bandeja.
Bandeja?
Hoog.
Hoog?
Vuurbalactie. Een slice, maar dat lukt mij niet. Dat was oké. Dat was het.
Dat was het. Oké. En nu? Wat gaan we nu doen? Jersey?
Lunch, hè? Nou, even uitrusten en dan...
Spaans stoplicht.
Planning very nu.
Spaans stoplicht.
Ja, oh ja.
Ook in Spanje negeren.
Let op afstand.
Ja.
Leuk voor de view.
Ja, ga maar. Ja.
After a little bit of relaxing, the group went for a walk to the beach to see what all the fuzz was about, but more importantly, to get some good lunch. The beach, indeed, was a phenomenal sight to the eye.
Mag ik een beetje Haats commentaar?
Lekker.
Lekker.
Lekker weer, lekkere zee.
Zonzee is schoon.
Beetje poot in het zand. Lekker man.
Jersey had picked a place which scores a whopping 4.9 stars on TripAdvisor. Music to the ears of the hungry gentleman. And music there was.
Je hoeft niet aan te spannen, hè? Wauw.
Spaans broodje gezond.
The service started off a bit slow, but the booze and all of the food was fully worth it. The 4.9 rating was justifiable.
Mucho bueno.
While people were admiring the beautiful scenery of Spain, Mark enjoying a bit of sand between his toes, and Elvis of Alicante singing his heart out, all of a sudden, a wild dog with ski goggles appeared out of nowhere. After the adventure at the beach, at 4 o'clock the boys played a couple of matches against other players and locals. It was a fun way to test the level against other players, or for some to be humbled. Also, a reminder of why this trip was necessary. At 7:30, it was time to go to the center of Alicante to get a delicious meal. Also, this time, Jersey had found a well-reviewed place near a hill. But arriving at the Japanese spot, after having stood in the tram like a can of sardines, the group encountered a cold surprise. The entrance looked like the opening scene of a bad movie, not even to mention the vibe of the cheap hallway. So now the group faced a dilemma: what to do? Luckily, there was Bus 22 to save the damsels in distress. This ride also made sure the guys were not short of hugging each other and other sardines. But it all was for the greater good. Because of Easter, the yearly parade was about to go down in the city center later that evening. So therefore, the streets were already pretty crowded. In the main street, stands were placed on both sides of the road, so spectators could also sit down to watch all that was happening. But the group only had one mission: execute Plan B. Find the restaurant. As expected, the group had no trouble finding the target and were about to sit down in this highly anticipated restaurant. After a couple of minutes deciding what to order, the choice for the 10-course menu was made, and the fine dining experience was about to go down. I'm not going to describe every detail of the evening, because, to be fair, a whole new Aftermovie could cover this dinner alone. What started as a normal dinner quickly turned into a legendary night. Laughter echoed through the restaurant to the point where everyone had tears in their eyes, much to the likely dismay of everyone else trying to enjoy a quiet meal. It was chaotic, unforgettable, and the kind of evening that will live on in stories for years to come. And if you think a 10-course dinner is more than enough, think twice. Waiting for the Ubers to drive them back to the hotel, the boys couldn't resist to get some churros to end the night with. A delicious ending of day 2 of Padel Dads & Co. on tour.
Waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kinda odd. No barking from
Day 3 started off with the last paddle clinic at 10:30 in the morning. Now it was time to give a final push during training to become a better player. It isn't mentioned yet, but the coaches were absolutely great. A lot was learned over the past days, but more importantly, the vibe equally was as great. This made the paddle trip even more worth it. Serious training and a lot of tips, but at the same time, a lot of fun and laughter. After the last training, it was time to get together with all of the different training groups for a very nice Spanish lunch underneath the warm sun. But first, everyone got some nice merchandise as a souvenir and as a memory of the lovely days. On the menu, some nice snacks, salads and paella, together with sangria and agua sin gas. Boy, did it taste good.
padelles vandaag, dag 3.
Oh, lekker man.
Ja?
Mucho bueno.
Kan je wat meer vertellen over wat je hebt geleerd?
Goeie bendeja. Lopjes retourneren.
Lopjes retourneren, ja.
En ik heb heerlijk gegeten bij
Padel, ja.
Padel Center.
Ja.
Tapas, paella, sangria.
Nog maar shirts gekregen?
Zie. En dan over 2,5 uurtjes mogen we weer.
Tegen, waarschijnlijk. Goeie.
De Zwitsers, de Fransen, de Spanjaarden, de Belgen, de Duitsers.
We moeten de R van Nederland hoog houden.
Ja.
Tegen de Spanjaarden.
After the big lunch, the guys had some time to relax. A little siesta time. At 4:30, the last matches were planned against locals and other trainees. A good way to find out if the clinics had paid off or if the next paddle trip had to be booked already.
Mel et Guillaume contre Diego et Marc. Ja.
Wie heeft er zo hard gestreden? Van wie is deze knie?
Dit is Andrew.
After the last matches were played, it was time to relax. An honest review of the group was being asked for, but all of a sudden, Coach Laurent got very shy. So for now, I owe you that answer.
Eindoordeel voor de groep.
Nee, ik ben een timide. Ik ben heel echt timide.
We horen je bijna niet, joh.
Then it was time to say a final goodbye to the coach and head back to the hotel for the evening program.
Zit erop.
If you wanna go and take a ride with me, we three women in the four with the goldies. Oh, why do I live this way? If you wanna go and get high with me, smoke a L in the back of the Benzie. Oh, why must I feel this way? In the club on a late night, feeling right, looking, trying to spot something real nice. Looking for a little shorty, I know they so that I can take home.
Of course, a trip with the boys wouldn't be complete if there wasn't a proper meat dinner involved. This time, a well-reviewed steak restaurant called Templo was the final stop of the public transport journey. A cozy terrace outside of the restaurant was the perfect setting to have a last dinner with the guys. When the waiters arrived with the raw steaks, it was clear this was going to be a delicious meal. Andrew, Dennis, and Jersey were the appointed inspectors to make sure the cows were really dead and ready to be consumed. Now I will keep my mouth shut so you can enjoy the beautiful art of making a steak tartare.
Excellent. Okay, guys. Yes? In this one, egg, onion, pickles, anchovies. Yes?
Fish, whole fish.
Brandy? The saucy Worcester, egg, mustard, salt, and pepper. And the meat is tender or fresh.
the gentlemen were finished eating the appetizers, they thought the waiter offered everyone a cigar. But it was no such day, as the box contained the steak knives for the main course. After everyone had picked their weapon carefully, the chosen steaks arrived at the table and were already precisely cut into nice pieces. What followed was a lovely, civilized meal in the open air. The restaurant was true to its rating, and so the group had finished some high-quality steaks before they went on and get some gelato. The evening did not end in one of the clubs nearby, but, as anticipated, just casually in the Uber and at a decent time in the hotel to get a good night's rest. Sunday morning, the last day of the trip. What better way to start the day than Andrew testing out the local Easter delicacy? The final verdict, the eggshell was not edible. A part of the group decided to go to the supermarket to get a couple of last things.
Oh, ja, dat was hem hoor. Dat was de grap van vandaag.
It was a typical, easy Sunday stroll back to the hotel, where the gentlemen were relaxing before heading to the paddle courts for some final games.
Close.
While the shortcut gate was closed on this fine morning, the club gladly wasn't. It was nice to see all of the courts were filled with fanatics, and on the court side invested little spectators. And when the group was complete, the last balls of the trip were played at the Bella Padel Center. Everyone got to play each other one final time, and it was nice to hit those winning shots under the warm sun of Alicante before the boys had to head back to chilly Holland. At the club, the group ordered some freshly made smoothies and a simple lunch to reward themselves for the satisfying past couple of days. The late checkout was a smart move, so the guys could return to the hotel in a relaxed way and pack the suitcases without having to hurry. But no hurry didn't necessarily mean the challenging route couldn't be taken. And after the exit was found, it was time for a final review.
90 minuten.
90 minuten de theorie en praktijk te brengen, maar ja.
Van die 90 minuten is dat 10 minuten geluk. Ja. Of
10-90 regel.
Of 10 minuten meer dan...
Hebben jullie ook het gevoel dat deze afgelopen dagen hebben bijgedragen aan de ontwikkeling van jullie eigen persoonlijk spel?
Het gevoel wel, maar ik denk dat je het na een maand nog maar een keer moet vragen.
Oké, dan doen we nog even een evaluatie voor de 30 dagen.
Evaluatie van de evaluatie.
Ja. Jij ook?
Ja, absoluut. Ik denk dat ik niet meer dezelfde ben. Een hele Een hele nieuwe markt ontstaan.
En is het voor herhaling vatbaar?
Ja, zeker. Kijk hoor. Heel mooi weer.
Maar je hoopt dan wel andere dingen te leren, bedoel je?
Ja. Fantastisch.
Blauwe lucht. Mooi.
And on that note, the paddle part was concluded, and the boys had to pack their suitcases and load up the vehicles. While a different transfer driver came with yet again a big van, the rented car suddenly seemed smaller.
Weet je hoe die dat... Douw gewoon, laat het hem uitzoeken, joh. Gewoon zo. Russell zoekt het maar uit.
Daar gaan we weer vandoor.
When both cars were finally loaded up, the group could say goodbye to the hotel, and the homebound travel was initiated. Funky as the arrival drive was, the departure drive was the opposite of that, as the guys were both exhausted and sad to leave beautiful Spain. When arriving at the airport, the realization kicked in that they were 3 hours early. So some time had to be killed while waiting for the baggage to check in. Buckets full of coffee and an old school game of klaverjassen was the chosen remedy. Choices had to be made, and bad hands were played in order to wait for the plane to take off.
10, 12, hij redt het niet. Kan niet. Ja, precies, je redt het niet. Ja, precies, gewonnen. Dus die roemetjes.
When it was time to check in the luggage, the walk to the aircraft was set. Some drinks and food were bought or digested, and when boarding the plane, it was a pleasant surprise the flight purser was joking around and thus giving everyone on the plane a good time while traveling home.
Dames en heren, mogen wij u vragen zo snel mogelijk uw plaats in te nemen, zodat wij kunnen vliegen naar Rotterdam. Dank u wel.
Dit is onze YouTuber dit. Ken je niet? Joe the Show.
In geval van evacuatie volgt u de gangpadverlichting naar de dispensering.
At exactly 5 minutes to 8, the aircraft took off as scheduled, and all that was left was a quiet flight back to Holland. Some of the guys were working, some were chatting, some were filming, and some were sleeping. Getting such a good rest after the eventful and active trip. The smell of Pringles' black truffle and butter wasn't even able to wake them up. A little after 10, the plane touched down and the paddle trip had come to an end. Great memories were made, laughter was shared, and better paddle players were forged. It's safe to say this was the first time, and certainly not the last time, the Paddle Dads and Co. were going on an adventure abroad. Until next time, vamos!
All my friends know the low rider. The low rider is a little higher. listener. Low rider, don't drive too fast. Take a little trip and see